And welcome back, everybody. We are still streaming, and we won't be stopping today because we have several interviews going on here at AICon USA, reporting from Seattle, Washington. And now, my next adventure here on the interviews, we have here the amigo oder Freund, Andreas Bohman. Andreas, welcome.
Thanks, Leandro.
It's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you very much. I was thanking Andreas because he was the very first one to answer to these invites, and he was very spotty right away. So, amigo, welcome. How are you doing?
I am good. I am delighted to be here. And one of the reasons that I responded right away is because AI, it's a thing. I hear it's gonna stick around for a while.
Yeah.
So we're pretty eager to, coming from the University of Washington, we see ourselves as a leader in AI, and I wanted to come here and represent.
Share a little bit around
Absolutely.
that. So, speaking of the university and all that, I already hinted quite a bit. But for the people that do not know you, don't know who you are, would you mind sharing with the audience who are you, why are you here, what do you do, and what makes you special?
I don't know if anything makes me special, but I appreciate that. Just to make a long story short, I immigrated from Sweden many years ago, and I was initially in the military and in the private sector. And after having more kids than I know what to do with, I decided that I was talking about lifelong learning and how important that was. I felt like I was talking the talk, but I was not walking the walk. So I actually deliberately moved into higher education and started working as an administrator, primarily around security and technology, which brought me here to the University of Washington. And I've been the Chief Information Officer for the University of Washington since March of 2022.
Okay, interesting. So this is an interesting trajectory that you have, like first military, and then sounds like finding your place.
Right.
Where were you? And you look pretty happy at the university, and like you finally found the spot, right?
Yeah, I think so, Leandro. I think, at least for me personally, when I wake up in the morning, I tell my team all the time, I'm on a quest for meaning. I'm looking for meaning in my personal life, and I'm looking for meaning in my professional life. And again, this is just Andreas's opinion. I felt that the private sector, I was just chasing the next quarterly statement. And moving into higher ed, it felt like a higher calling. For example, the mission statement for the University of Washington talks about the preservation, advancement, and dissemination of knowledge. And that's the kind of stuff that gets you out of bed in the morning. So I was looking for something that aligned more with who I am as a person. It doesn't work for everybody, but it's a really good fit for me.
I think it's, sounds incredible. Being in an institution that deals with knowledge. It sounds like you also are like a non-stop knowledge seeker, that you like to keep growing,
Absolutely.
helping, spreading, but you yourself growing as well. I have that as well, of curious people just wondering and trying to figure what is
Right.
next, right? Education institution is like a treasure chest for people like that, right?
But that comes in many ways. Higher education is one avenue, but just having a curious mind, and there are all these other options that you can choose. I think it's that philosophy of lifelong learning that matters. How you achieve that, well, that's an individual journey.
It's up to you. Yeah, you're right. The DIY, do it at home, whichever brings you joy.
Well, right. There's
But
trade schools, there's all kinds of things you can do.
no, and the YouTube University now and internet
Yep.
is enabled huge revolutions. But I still feel like the institutions are like where the knowledge is contained. It's more structured, or just like libraries and books and teachers, knowledgeable people walking around. Is like it feels like a constant conference for me. Like these conferences are where you meet the cool people that have the knowledge, that are bringing the things. But in one of these institutions, like you have them all the day, every day, and you keep walking into them.
Right.
So Andres, as well, you are not only in the university helping and bringing all the knowledge to people, but you came here as well to AICon USA. What is your participation here? You're bringing a talk. What's your talk about? Do you mind? I mean, I don't want to spill the whole beans, but what is the title? What are you going to be talking about?
I'll keep the good stuff for the presentation.
Yeah. Just tease them a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit of a little breadcrumb. It's really about how do you balance innovation, governance, and risk in really large, complex organizations when it comes to AI. We tend to get all worked up about the novelty and the tools and all the cool things you can do, but how do you really scale that and how do you deploy that in a large, complex organization like the University of Washington, for example? We have 100,000 people running around, right? How do you deploy AI in a meaningful way while also accounting for the constraints of the organization that you work for? Higher education is sometimes famous for being bureaucratic. There's some truth to that. Other organizations have the same constraints or different constraints. How do you navigate that and still deploy and scale AI responsibly? So that's kind of the gist of the talk. It dives into how to set up governance, the purpose of governance, and then also, of course, leadership. Leadership is one of the core elements of my presentation, and I think we need more of it.
Yeah, if you don't have like some sort of direction, someone steering a little bit towards, I do agree with you. I'm not worried or scared of AI, but I'm a little worried of how fast and could be kind of unconscious. It's like when you drink and drive responsibly, AI responsibly.
Yeah.
It's important because I see so many experiments that, I see so many ways, or maybe I have seen too many horror movies or been in many projects that have situations going wild.
Skynet, right?
But not, that's kind of like the ultimate problem, but there are so many that before Skynet we're gonna hit so many things hitting the fan with AI.
Yeah.
Before Skynet, I don't even worry because when that happens, it's over. No worries. But let's do things right before we get to that point, or try to not to get to that point, just by being mindful, responsible, and I don't know what things are being taught in order to achieve this. I'm sure that it's not only something that the university is applying, but are you teaching some of these materials? Is it part of the curricula?
Yeah, I'm not a professor or faculty member. I'm an administrator. So my job is to deploy technology strategy across our campuses, so researchers and faculty and students can do their thing. So I kind of support in the background, if you will.
You're an enabler.
Exactly. Yes, I have to lead from the front sometimes, in that you have to be the voice or the face of some initiatives and things. But your point on responsible deployment of AI is really well taken, because not everyone agrees. Meaning, AI is here. I'm all in, right? We're not going to put the genie back in the bottle, but we have to, at least I think, we have to listen to the voices that have concerns. Not everyone is on board. And I think this is, if you look back on history, there are these moments in time when these technologies or new ways of doing things pop up, and you're going to have a portion of the population that are like, ooh, time out, how is this going to impact me? I'm not saying we should slow down and we should stop innovating. I'm saying we should account for those voices and make sure that they're heard.
Yeah, it's important because, there's an extreme of all the chicken littles running around with...
and you got to be careful to not over-index on any of that, right?
Yeah, and as you were saying, it's a delicate balance that going to the right path, but not going too crazy with just connecting all the MCPs that you can with whatever you can.
Yes.
You're already smiling, we'll talk about that. Or on the other hand, just stand there because it's too risky and Skynet maybe, and like, and it's a silly perspective, like if Skynet happens, let's make sure that it's a good Skynet that helps us and we're all happy with it and we can coexist. So, but out of these like guidelines and recommendations, what would you say is important that people start to be aware of, or that to take into account with some of these crazy things that we
Yeah.
will be able to do.
Yeah, in my talk, I mentioned my 5 rules. There are just 5 rules that I have developed for myself in order to navigate this rapidly changing environment. So some of the things that I keep telling myself is that AI can suggest, but at the end of the day, the decisions are up to us. Meaning, I tell my leadership team all the time, there's one thing you can't delegate, and that is responsibility. So when it comes to AI, you cannot outsource responsibility to a tool. At the same time, I don't think that AI will replace humans yet.
Fully or
But I think that people who know how to use AI might replace those who don't. And that's just a stark reality in that we all have to become familiar and understand what AI is, but also what it isn't. So to me, there are some ground rules that you can put into play that, at least for me, would allow you to navigate this space. But these are very personal to me, so you have to kind of rationalize that on your own and come up with your own process for how do I make decisions in this space, right? And it's hard because it's moving by the hour.
It's something that you make me wonder, because you have your own rules, and for everybody to bring their own, to identify,
Right.
to be careful. And I would say, from the perspective that you're bringing, you remind me a lot. Atul Gawande, Checklist Manifesto.
Okay,
Have
yeah,
your
yeah.
checklist for when you are embracing with AI and bringing every step that you do with it. You gotta be careful. That's
Yeah, you gotta find a way to ground yourself. You gotta find some principles that you can hold on to that will help you navigate this rapidly changing environment. Because it's gonna change so fast that you really have to just ask yourself, how am I gonna make decisions in this space? Right? How am I gonna lead in this space? And if you don't sit down and think through that, you're just reacting to this changing environment, and that's hard.
yeah, because just reaction is prone to mistakes.
Oh, for sure.
Just sitting there and just trying to your blink responses, and you want to be more purposeful to
Yes.
what you're doing, not just like, ooh, new toy, let's touch it, and it might be buzzing or give you a spark, and you gotta be
Exactly.
careful. Earlier as well, you mentioned that this set of rules and guidelines will help us to identify what AI is and what it is not. What is it not? What are the things that we should be like? Ooh.
Yeah, good question. And I don't have the authoritative answer on this, but at least
Your
from my
perspective.
From my perspective, AI has been around since 1957, 1960s. The University of Washington has been researching AI for decades, right? There's AI, then there was machine learning, then there was natural language processing, and now we have Gen AI. So part of this is just a continuation and a continued maturity of this concept of AI. We tend to see it almost like it's this new thing. Well, yes and no. We've been doing this for decades. This is just the next iteration of it. And that, to me, kind of grounds AI a little bit in that it's not this flashy, miraculous thing that just popped out of nowhere. This is 50 years of research that now materializes in this Gen AI. So it's really important to understand that history, I think, and you frame it that way. The other thing, to me, what AI isn't, is around, like I said before, decision-making and responsibility. With agentic AI, now AI systems are starting to make choices on its own, and the whole risk framework changes. Because instead of you being worried about output and quality control, now you might ask yourself questions around accountability, about intent, about ethics. So understanding what agentic AI is, and again, what it isn't, I think becomes really important. And as humans, we have to not let go of that decision-making control or that responsibility, because ultimately it's on you. AI, to be blunt and simplistic, it's just statistics, right? I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
right? So
Data analysis.
Yeah, exactly, right? So we have to be careful to not put something on it that it's not there. Meaning, if you let AI make decisions for you, I don't know if that's the right thing.
Help you on the decision taking. Yes, it's the assistance.
Yes.
Assist
Oh, for sure.
AI, but you're just making me think on of all of these problems as it was being mentioned. Like AI is not like when was it? November 22 or 23? When
November 22.
22. Yeah,
ChatGPT,
I had like a hiccup
3.5.
earlier. Like
Yeah.
22 or 23. Time was weird after the pandemic. So, never mind. Before that, we were already discussing some of these things with the responsibility decision taking. The car that was going straight to a bunch of people and there was an old person on the other
Right.
corner. Which one do you hit? Or smart cars that have already had fatal accidents. That who's responsible for that? And that's something that, not me. I just plugged the MCP and like,
Right?
you gotta be careful with some of those things because the one holding the thing and the last one that held it, if something happens, you always have to be mindful. Like, and I come from a QA background
Okay.
where you are always thinking what can go wrong, what are the possibilities. Like, and with this, I think you gotta be even more careful, right?
Yeah. Yes. And there's actually a talk coming up at 1:30 today. His name is Bob Rapp. He's a great human being.
We already had Bob here.
Oh, great.
It's a blast. Yeah,
He's a fun guy to be around. He's given a talk on, actually he's giving a demo on the difference between kind of the traditional AI and Gen AI and how you can use an agent to really transform an organization. So I think attending that and just seeing what that looks like live, I think he's going to build this. He's going to try to build this within 7 minutes. We'll see how it goes.
Live demos. Ooh.
Exactly, right? Risky, but good for him. And I think it will help maybe at least communicate what this agentic AI is and what it isn't, and in regards to that, who owns the responsibility? Because we talk about vibe coding and we do all the cool things with AI. At the end of the day, there's a human being sitting there. It's like when I drive my car, it's self-driving, right? So I hit a button and off it goes. Well, let's say I run into someone. Who's responsible?
Is it you or is it who developed the AI? Or?
Exactly, right? It's murky.
That's going to be a big. That's what I was saying. Like, forget Skynet. We have things that we have to kind of like check on before, like the all these biases that we found in AI. Can't remember who was the hiring bias that was giving preference to males, white people, and so on. Who's responsible for that? Like, oh yeah, someone trained the AI wrong, so Twitter to blame, right? No. We have to own it and see how can we fix it. Probably, and I don't know what are your perspectives on how to, because we're saying be careful, but how am I careful? What should I do? Do a small releases or MVPs and see where is it going. There gotta be some strategies, right?
Yeah, there are some strategies, and there's a lot of research happening in this space. And I'm on thin ice now because I'm not a researcher per se, but there are methodologies that are being presented in order to detect bias in AI systems. It's a real thing, it's out there, but I think it starts with us, because point me to a human being that doesn't have bias. You have it, I have it. Some of it is acknowledged, but some of it's subconscious, right? It's just wired into you because of where you're from and who you are and all the things that make up you. Mm-hmm. So starting with the human and just recognizing that we all have biases, and then now that we have owned that, now we can start to figure out how to address it. Because I think there's a notion, also I've heard that, well, not all humans have bias, and there's a purity to this that we can feed into AI, and I just disagree with that. I think we just got to own the fact that we're a human and we are flawed, and then just address that issue as we develop those platforms.
It's something interesting because when you say these people that are saying that there are humans without biases, I had to laugh.
Yes, it is.
The best part is that many times you don't even know that you have that bias. Most of the ones that we have have no idea.
Right.
And someone else will point it at us and we will like, that's not true. Oh, And that departure point of accepting that we have them and thinking that our models will not inherit I mean, us, the flawed humans, are the ones training all these AIs. So it's going to inherit some of that. It's like all the issues that my parents had, I have some of that, and it's something that we have to be mindful about.
Yes.
And we're the parents of these new things that are coming with the generative models and everything that we're playing with.
Absolutely. And I think, I think when I look at America, we're the melting pot of the world, right? You're from Mexico, I'm from Sweden. There are people from all over the world here, and we'll bring our own personal and cultural biases to the table. And that's okay, because it just is, right? So again, owning that up front and then addressing the outcome, I think is the best approach.
What do you mean? What's wrong with you? What are you saying? Tacos are not the best
What are you
food?
talking about? Yes.
Tacos are the best food. Everybody in the world knows that.
That's what I heard. Yes.
So, as you can see, there are some things that you may think, and it's incredible, like how sweet should a coffee be? That's a bias that some countries have no sugar at all principles. And if you ask my whole family, it needs like 3 spoons of sugar and it's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
So those small differences we need to take into account with AI and what is coming.
For sure.
Magnitudes, please, to pay attention to it. And now, just to start to wrap up a little bit,
Sure.
Andreas, some recommendations to the audience on what you are working or implementing at the university, because you're helping some of these efforts that you can give to the audience to take away and grow.
I think my perception or my understanding of the world is that the research that we do in higher education is really part of the economic engine of our nation. So the work that we're doing, I feel is important, and I think it's going to pay dividends into the future. So the University of Washington sees itself as a leader in AI, but we're also an integral part of the local community here in Seattle. I mean, the campus is right down the street, right? And we are essentially integrated.
And Seattle is a melting pot of technology as well.
Exactly. So I would encourage people who are curious about what research is happening at the University of Washington. A lot of that is open to the public. We have events, all kinds of things that are going on campus where you can actually see what research is happening. As an example, in my talk later on today, I'm going to discuss some researchers that are using AI to help people with dyslexia.
And I need some of that.
Yeah, and that might seem niche, but it's very real to them, right? There are real problems for real humans with real needs, and I would encourage everyone to come and see some of the amazing things happening on campus around AI research.
We're going to ask Andreas for some of the links where you can find more and put it down here in the comments. And thank you for those recommendations. And I mean, it's official sources, academic sources. Those are the best things that you can get to get the right direction, right? And so, amigo Andreas, just to wrap up, where can people follow up with you, get in touch with you, or find out more about all this research and all these things?
Yeah, the easiest way is just to go to first of all, the university's website, uw.edu. It's easy to remember, just 5 letters. You can also email me. My name is Andreas Bohman. That is A. Bohman, B-O-H-M-A-N, at uw.edu, and there will be a link to that here shortly, I'm sure. If you have questions, or if you just want to engage, I'm here, I'm available, and like I said, I highly encourage everyone to see all the cool things going on at the university.
Yeah, take a look, and I can attend to that. He's very responsive, so if you have any needs, questions, or want to check out what's the university doing, please, we're going to add the links. Get in touch with Andreas. It's an awesome person, and he's very careful. He's going to give you good direction, and I think the scientific university level advice. So
we try.
That's the best. Amigo, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Has been a pleasure.
Likewise.
And there you have it. Check it out. We will add as many links as we can so that you can go quickly and follow up with Andreas and everything around the university.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And well, there you have it, everybody. This is not over yet. We're gonna do a quick lunch break in a moment, and then we will be back with more interviews and more awesome people presenting here at AICon USA, reporting from Seattle, Washington. Stay tuned, and we will wrap up soon. And at the end of the day today, we will have the passport run. Stay tuned, because we may win a prize, and it's gonna get interesting. You know, getting stamped with all the booths and presenters. So see you all in a few moments. Andreas, thank you again. Adios, everybody, and
Thank you.
adios, auf Wiedersehen. Bye. And it's starting.